Hello.
Don't sneak up on me like that.
Sorry. Didn't mean to. I can be sneaky though.
It was very sneaky. I did invite you to join me at this particular moment, and I'm sitting here with the Zoom running, so thank you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday. Where are you now?
I am in South Caro.
So we're neighbors.
I think so. Yeah, you're remind me, you're Socrates or Athens? You're close.
Athens.
Athens, yeah.
Wow. Oh, so I had no idea.
Yeah. Look at that.
Like how far would that be? Like 10 minutes?
It's about 20.
Okay. What was
Yeah,
I thinking? Then
yeah,
forget it. All
yeah.
right.
We're close though.
Um, what's that?
It's super close.
Very close. That's great. I didn't realize. Well, it's really nice to meet you. I don't think I met you at the festival.
No, no, we didn't get to meet.
Mm.
I
So,
was at some of those late night parties, which were too much fun.
so we may, yeah, I'm sure. Well, I don't know how many of those I did. Probably one, but I'm sure our paths crossed. But here we are again. Let's put it that way. And you premiered Gone Before Your Eyes at the Woodstock Film Festival, 2023, correct?
I did, yes, yes.
And
It was
looks like it's had a pretty nice trajectory, right? Festivals are the short's best friend, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. We're at about 10 now, plus we have a couple of other screenings we've done. We did one with the Women in Media Coalition in New York at the SVA Theater for Women's Arts Day, which was really fun. And we've screened all across the US and in Turkey as well.
Oh, Turkey. What was the connection there?
I've always wanted to go to Turkey, and there's a great shorts festival called the Izmir Shorts International Shorts Film Festival. So we got in there.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I didn't get to travel there because we had
Oh,
already had five other festivals we were going to at the time. But we screened.
right. That's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
You'll get there eventually.
I will. I will. I hope.
Sure. Yeah, and I noticed you were in the Queens World Film Festival
Yes.
with
Yes.
Kathy and Don
Yeah. Yes. And I just won the Best Director of a Narrative Short Award. So really honored about that
with at the Queens.
at
Oh,
the Queens
yeah.
World Film Festival.
That's right. And you also won an award at the Buffalo Festival, right? There's one in Buffalo.
Yes, we won Best Short at Buffalo.
Yeah.
And we won the Audience Choice Award at the Bowery Film Festival.
Fantastic. Well, there needs to be as many rather festivals for shorts anyway, because I mean, it is there for like 99% of the shorts out there. It's their distribution model. So it's the way most people are going to see it, certainly on a big screen,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
And for me, this film, I would like people to see it on a big screen. I know all filmmakers feel that way, but for me, it's a very immersive experience. I'm trying to immerse the viewer in the experience of how it
Right.
might feel to have Alzheimer's disease, how
Yeah,
disheartening.
right. And you have 10 minutes, right? I mean, it's like it's kind of important to immerse them pretty soon. Pretty early on, you want to immerse them and so they can have an emotional experience seeing the film and some sort of emotional whether it's whatever it looks like, I mean, so many of us now deal with either Alzheimer's in our lives or some sort of form of dementia because so many of our parents, grandparents are living into their 80s, 90s, and it's just so much more common that everybody deals with. I myself have a mother who has been in the, living with the dementia for so long. It's kind of just beyond
Yeah.
reason at this point. It's just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. How long has she been dealing with it?
Um, um, well, yes, 8, 9 years. I don't even, not sure when. I mean, she's been living in a nursing home for about 7 years, I think. She's been communicative, and she's nonverbal for many years. She's really not there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We're at about 5 with my mom being in that
okay,
state, but like
yeah,
nonverbal. Sometimes she talks nonsense. Like
right,
she
right,
doesn't
sure,
make sense.
yeah,
But often she's just staring off, in her own world.
yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're.
Well,
I know one gets used to this being part of our real life, right? We can relate. I mean, I made it into my 50s before my mother succumbed to it, where I lost her. And you seem significantly younger. Do you have older siblings, or do you have how old's your mom?
my mom is now 78.
Yeah, it's
So she got a pretty,
she got early onset. That would be
yeah. I don't
yeah.
know if it's quite considered, but definitely, when we look back at the markers, it's been over 10 years
Yeah,
since.
that's very young.
Yeah. She's been in her current state about 5.
Right.
Um, but really, I made this film to kind of deal with the grief of it's such a bizarre thing when you lose a parent to Alzheimer's disease because she's still there. I can go
Right.
hug her.
Right. Yeah.
And yet when I got married, I told her I got married and she didn't even react. Maybe she understands somewhere inside. I don't know, but it's like this person, who's so important in your life is still there, but they're gone. And that's kind of, where the title came from.
Yes.
And even for her, the character in the film, she's kind of disappears in front of her own eyes. But
Yes. Right.
at one point.
Right. Right. Yeah. And it's called Gone Before Your Eyes, right?
Yeah.
And its lead is the actor Jane Ives,
Yes. Yeah.
plays Angela, a painter who you know is in her studio or wherever she paints, and we just sort of she listens to music when she paints,
Yes. Yeah.
and right, and she's sort of caught in a loop, in a kind of in a cognitive or mental loop in her mind, and it's very for anybody dealing with this, I think it's worth seeing. It's definitely worth seeing. We can all relate to that story and what it's. I think I don't know if you'll agree. I'm sure you might, but that the worst part of this whole experience for me personally, of my mother in this, not seeing your film, that was not a bad experience, was the period where she was in decline and where she was losing her grip. That was the hardest thing to see because you're seeing your mother, in your case your mother as well, just disappear, lose her, not be very agitated, very anxious, and about what's happening, not understanding it. And it's a really painful thing to see,
Yeah.
even though
Yeah.
you're mostly on autopilot during it, just trying to figure out what the heck is going on and how to cope with the whole situation on financial, practical, medical, uh, all sorts of things one has to all of a sudden deal with because you never prepare for it.
Yeah, 100%. And that's really what inspired this film. Um, I wrote it during that period where I think, again, the most difficult time for them, for her,
Hmm.
and for our family, and for anyone dealing with Alzheimer's is when they're straddling the two worlds. So they're not
Yeah,
quite
right.
haven't progressed enough that they're in their own world. And they think they can still live their old life, but they can't. And that's what inspired this film. She's a painter, so she's in her studio, she's trying to paint, and she can't. And why
Hmm.
can't she? And really, my mom, at a certain point in the progression of the disease, continue going to her studio. And my stepfather would actually take her to the studio every day because he thought, this will be good for her. It's routine and it's what she's
Right.
used to. But she wouldn't make art. She'd spend all day there. And so I started, thinking, well, what is she doing and why can't she just put the paintbrush to canvas and make a painting like she did, my whole adult life? It's the thing that defines her. It's the thing she was most passionate about. You would think it would bring her some comfort, but she can't do it. Why? What are the obstacles? And then obviously I used my imagination um, to think about why she can't do something so simple that defined her for so long.
And what do you have like a film background?
I actually went to theater school, and I created one woman shows. I did four of them. I ran a puppetry company for a while, so I did theater for a long time and a lot of collaborative devised theater.
Up
And
here or
in Canada,
oh, or is that your birthplace? Is that where you're
my birthplace is California, but I grew up in Canada. I very much identify as proud Canadian.
where in Canada?
Vancouver Island, Victoria.
Oh, wow. Oh, very, yeah, I've been there. Oh, that's
Yeah,
amazing. Okay.
yeah. Yeah, so I spent my, most of my 20s touring one woman shows across Canada. There's a really
Oh,
great structure. There's a whole circuit of fringe festivals. So I would
amazing.
come in with a show and we tour, 10 cities from Montreal all the way to Vancouver Island. And it was just amazing because I got to see all these amazing shows. I had sold out houses. I was able to survive as an independent artist. I just have so many creative friends from that time. I was traveling the country. We would spend our summers traveling the country. You'd write another show and then you'd tour again. After, I kind of hit 30 and I was sick of you're billeted with this festival circuit. So you're staying with all these generous people who open up their homes, but you kind of get sick of sleeping on people's couches and, hitching
I
rides.
can't understand why.
Yeah. And I always loved film as a medium, and I wanted to focus on it more. And I moved to New York. So I thought it was a great place to be able to further explore theater and do film as well. And I actually got a job at the Film Society of Lincoln Center, working for the New York Film Festival and another festival they put on that's really amazing called New Directors, New Films. And that's with the Film Society of Lincoln Center and MoMA Films.
Yes. Yes, quite
Um,
familiar with it.
Yes, so I
Wow.
was filmmaker liaison for 5 years at both
Oh,
festivals.
I wonder if we had our paths crossed there. I would go I went every year for years to the New York Film Festival, mostly the press screenings. But they leak, as you know, they get a head start, but then they overlap with the public screenings.
Yeah.
And interestingly, and the new directors was always my favorite.
Oh, isn't it
Uh,
great? I love the
I
festival.
always loved it. And then on this podcast, I would bring on all the programmers. Always. I mean, I've had on all the programmers from Lincoln Center, MoMA, come on and talk about those
Lindsay
festivals.
Jensen, Larry Kardish, they were working
None
there.
of those guys. No, I'm kidding. Actually, Larry
Raj
Kardish,
Roy, Josh Thiegel.
a lot of those guys.
um,
Larry actually came on more recently because of Film Columbia.
Ah,
You know
cool.
about that festival, right?
No.
Okay. Well, I can fill you in later. But every fall, right after the Woodstock Film Festival, is the Film Columbia Festival, which the reason you haven't heard about it because they don't advertise. It's just it's in nearby up here in Columbia County, across the river, and it's in the forget what's the name of the I should be able to remember the theater, but it's it's for the community people there. They all have a lot of money. And so, and it's the two of the three people that run it are Larry, uh, Peter, guy who wrote Easy Rider, Raging Bulls. Uh, doesn't matter. I'm getting distracted by these things, but it's this little thing. You should check it out though.
Yeah.
Um, it's fun to go to,
Yeah.
and so Larry's part of that team. But anyway, I eventually also they finally about I don't know 7 or 8 years ago realized they can't keep accepting submissions, feature film submissions, because they never accept them for the New York Film Festival. I'm talking about.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, they would people would send then their film and pay a fee, and they would never get accepted. So finally, the film at Lincoln Center realized that it is a little scammy.
Yeah.
So they stopped accepting feature films, but they were continuing to receive some short film submissions. And I was on the screener committee for that
Thing.
for a couple of years
Yeah.
before I left the city. But you know, it was nice to be part of that group. But you had a real position there. That's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that experience it taught me so much. I feel like it was my film school sitting backstage,
Right.
with the greatest directors in the world, Yorgos Lanthimos and
Oh my God. Yeah.
Scorsese and Steven Spielberg. And, I can just go
I know
kind of so
who's that?
far.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to know Leslie, obviously.
Yes, Leslie Kleinberg. She actually started as the head of the New York Film Festival when I was working there, and then got
Right.
promoted, and now she's the head
Yes.
honcho there.
Well, we're glad to have you up here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, so I worked at the Film Society till about 2015, and then I joined my partner. I have a production company. So I joined my partner Ryan Kipp and his production company, and started making movies. And that's where I've been since then. So I've been doing a lot. I was doing a lot of producing, and then I got a taste of directing, and
Now
just,
it's in your blood.
yeah, I can't wait to make the next one.
Yeah. And Jane, is she someone you met in your travels across to and from across the Canada, or is she an
Jane
American actor?
Jane is an American actress. We found her through auditions. We
Okay.
casting with Michael Walsh, who was our casting director. He's actually a friend. We used to perform on the Canadian Fringe circuit together,
Okay.
but he's also a casting director. And we did a casting session. It was during COVID, so it was all over Zoom. And Jane just blew everyone out of the water. She just
Yeah.
got it. She got how it was to be an artist, how it was to hold a paintbrush. Her father had Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the audition was like a very strange audition because there's no dialogue. So it was
Right.
pick up the paintbrush, um,
Right.
tries to paint. She puts the paintbrush down, and it was difficult to kind of understand the tone, what was going on, if you don't know how it is to be an artist or to have Alzheimer's disease. And Jane got both, and we're just so grateful because I think she does a phenomenal job in the film.
She does. She, you know, only enhances it was probably relatively um effortless to direct her because she seems like she didn't require a lot of direction necessarily. Allows you to get more things, be open to doing more things, and you know when you have a real pro like that. But I guess you're going for a certain tone.
Jane is a pro, and she is the most passionate, wonderful human and super talented, but she's done a lot of theater. She hasn't done a lot of film.
Right.
And I think, when we were filming it, I was pushing her in certain directions and to go farther,
I
and
see.
also pull back a lot, because I think when you do theater, you need to project larger, and in film,
Right.
it's,
The audience, you need to project your energy, not just your voice. In this case, it's not necessary, but just your performance and the energy from your performance to the last row.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And she said to me right before we were shooting, she goes, this is basically my worst nightmare you're putting me through. And when we were filming, by the end of it, she was like, I didn't know if what we shot was good. I felt like it was a horror film, because I feel like I really had to put her through the ringer, especially towards the end. I mean, it really was challenging for her emotionally, and she really
Yeah.
went there. But she didn't know what she did, how her performance was, until she saw the cut. And then she was like, now she's come to all the screenings. She brings all her friends. She's very proud, and she should be, because she's phenomenal in the role.
And you said there a festival coming up that it's playing in?
Yes, we are playing at the Lighthouse Film
Oh,
Festival.
yeah, sure.
Lighthouse
On
International.
LBI. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, yeah, Long Beach Island. Really
A great
excited about
festival.
that.
Yeah, no, it's a
Yeah,
lovely festival.
yeah.
I've been there a couple of times.
And it
Yeah.
seems like there's like a lot of overlap. with New York, which is great, the New York
Hmm.
film community. And then we just found out we're in the Prescott Film Festival, which is in Sedona. So we did the Sedona International
I
Filmmaker
know.
Programmers.
You're going back.
Well, I won't be at the screening, but the
Oh,
film will be, and I'm very honored
right.
that.
You can't possibly be making if your film is in a lot of film festivals, you can do only do your best.
Yes, it's true, especially if you want to make other films.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah, that's a part of the thing. It's not only a financial thing, but it's also just a scheduling thing. I mean, you know, I mean, if you're going to stay with it, not do anything but sort of handhold your film through its entire lifeline, you're not going to be able to get a lot of other things done.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna turn on the light. Sorry, I'm losing light here. It's getting a bit dark.
Yeah.
Um, and I also right now I mean I'm working on my next script. I'm starting to really think about that, which
Hmm.
is inspired by my first play that I wrote um, called Knee Deep in Muck.
Call what?
It's called Knee Deep in Muck,
Okay.
and it's about a young Canadian who goes in her rookie season as a tree planter in the Canadian wilderness. But I'm kind of rewriting it to explore the contradictions and complications of trying to live um, in this modern world that we live in,
Hmm.
where everything's, including our bodies, are polluted with plastic and can't seem to do anything right, or, you know, it's everything seems to be harming the planet. And so exploring that part of our modern life. Um, And I'm also supporting my partner who worked as the editor and producer and production designer on my film. He has a documentary that
Oh,
we are doing a short version. It will be a feature, but we're finishing up a
sure.
short version right now.
What's the subject matter for that?
It is about Dan and Toby Talbot, which you might know them.
I do.
They ran
Very well. I'm very familiar with the cinema, and even tried to, like, I was my final years in your city trying to help the group that was trying to bring it back or do something.
Save the Lincoln Plaza Cinemas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
So
know Ron Waldman? You know Ron?
no, I don't.
Okay.
Don't. But so we're finishing a short, and it's about their first movie theater, which is the New Yorker
Right. The New
Theater.
Yorker. I remember.
Um, and right now it's a bit tricky raising funds for narrative for films in general. But
Yeah. Right.
so we're finishing a short. We were putting together something for investors, and all of a sudden, my partner Sergio realized, oh, I have an hour worth of content just on the one movie theater. Let's make it into a short film. Now it's 30 minutes, and we're just polishing it right now before we start thinking about film festival strategies.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
And we'll bring you guys back on for that. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Keep me updated on that. I really want to see that. It sounds like a natural for this podcast.
That sounds great.
Thanks, Kara. Again, the name of the excuse me, it's documentary. The name of the short film is called Gone Before Your Eyes. It's written and directed by Cara Yeates. And where can people just keep up to date with the film, first of all, and what you're doing?
So there's a website, gonebeforeyoureyes.com, that has
Okay.
all the information for the film. And then also I have my own personal website, carayates.com.
That's
They both
Yeates.
correct. Yes, it has a strange spelling, an extra E. So I have
Never
mail,
have too many E's. Yeah.
so many E's. Yeah.
You can't have too many, I say. That's
Oh,
fine.
good. Good. And I don't know if you're going to be editing this because this is something that can't be announced till mid-June, but I do
Mhm.
have
Oh,
some.
well, we can wait on that, maybe. Go ahead. I want
So
to help
the
with the
film is
festivals.
going to be screening on WMHT, which is an upstate PBS channel. So
Hmm.
we're going to be screening in the summer. I don't have the dates yet. And it would also be available on the PBS app through this
Oh, that's
show.
great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And we can do whatever you want to do. I can release this now for the festivals, or and then we can just do a little bit of a reminder to people, or I can hold off on this until you have a date for the. It's up to you.
She said she's going to, I think she said mid-June, she's going to announce the
Okay.
program, the TV film program.
Hmm.
Uh, so it's up to you. I mean,
Okay. I mean, the thing is, I would want to wait till if we're going to go that route. I would probably wait till it's available already for people to watch. That way, they can go from this to seeing the whole thing. I'll put the trailer at the beginning anyway, or the teaser, whatever you have there. But I'll, if it were for the this, if it's available, however it's available, we could wait till it is, and then people could see it. It might make more sense, actually.
yeah, yeah, I think that's great because then you can direct them. They can actually,
Right. Exactly. Making my little way. I'm being a little bit more helpful, perhaps.
yeah, that
All
sounds good.
right.
Okay,
Excellent. Well, I wish you all the best, and stay in touch. We'll do this again with future projects.
sounds great. How long have you been upstate? Because it sounds like you're, a New Yorker.
Yeah.
You're
I've been up here since 2020.
okay. Okay, almost like us. We moved up in 2021.
Yeah, yeah. I moved up here almost exactly 4 years ago, June of 2020. And I moved to Athens in particular, like full time as of September of last year. But I had been already here almost every day. My girlfriend, we decided just to move in once the nest was empty. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, yeah. But I love it up here. I really do.
yeah, it's great. And Athens is a great place. It's super cute.
It's really great. If you're coming through, please um, shoot me a note. Be fun to get a coffee or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds like we have a
Okay.
lot in common. It'd be interesting to
Right.
talk about the
Yeah, let's
television.
do that. And also, yeah, we could talk more technical stuff and not, bore these people, these poor people who have to watch us right now.
It's great.
Hopefully, hopefully a few. Um, but yeah, that would be fantastic. I love that. And I'll tell you more about like Film Columbia and, you know, there's also the Berkshire's International Film Festival is happening
Right.
in about a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love more opportunities to screen locally. It's nice to
Yeah,
be.
yeah. But you'll love LBI. You'll love the Lighthouse. I was on a jury there, a shorts jury, juror. I don't remember what year, but not that long ago. I really enjoyed it. I went there twice. It's great, and they put you up in the house right on the ocean. It's fantastic. You'll love it.
It seems really intimate. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
it's really nice. You just have to do a lot of driving
Yeah.
because it's like a really long 18-mile island, and everything's like one. Yeah, it's like the Woodstock Film Festival was
Yeah.
when you had to drive for 45 minutes to get to a screening. Anyway, I'll let you get back to it.
Nice to
All
meet
right.
you.
And you're in Greene County, right? So
Yep.
yeah, we're neighbors. Okay, great.
Okay. Have a
This
good
was a
night.
pleasure.
It
Okay.
was a
You
pleasure.
too.
Thanks for having me, Adam.
Anytime.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.